Hello and welcome to Jeopardy! Today's topic is the Book of Habakkuk. The Book of Habakkuk takes place in the final decades of Israel's southern kingdom, right before Babylon is about to roll over and crush them. But unlike the other minor prophets, Habakkuk doesn't accuse Israel of all of their shortcomings. He instead cries out to God in many different fashions. He cries out to God because the Torah is being neglected, there's violence and injustice all across Israel, and there's a bunch of corrupt leaderships. God responds by saying that he is raising up the Babylonians. But Habakkuk is like, wait a second, the Babylonians are worse! Literally worse than Israel! How are you going to do this? And then God says that he will bring down the Babylonians, and then he says that all nations will eventually become just like Babylon. But Babylon will be destroyed time and time again in a future Exodus. And the whole point of this book is that the righteous will live by faith. Introducing today's host for the game show, Madison.
Introducing today's teams from Team 1. First player is Danielle. Second player is Neva. And the last player is Jacob. Okay, introducing the second team. First player is Garrett. Next is Janelle. And last is Caleb. Okay, background 10. When did the prophet live and minister, and what are the generally accepted dates of the book?
800 BC.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. Team 2?
The correct answer is actually 605 BC. It is around the time of when the Babylonians were invading Israel. Thus, he was writing about their slight invasion, and that's generally all we can assume from it.
Okay, background for 20 points. Do we know any personal or biographical information about the prophet? Yes.
Well, unfortunately, there's not much information about Habakkuk. His background and the very little scripture provided, his name alone is only said twice in the whole scripture, so it's like, there's not much there. He calls himself a prophet, but do we even know if he really was a prophet? I don't know. We would assume he is. But other than that, there's very little known about him, so.
Correct. Background for 30 points. What was the historical, political, religious setting in which the prophet ministered? Yes.
The book of Habakkuk was around the time of the 7th century BC. The southern kingdom of Judah was on the brink of exile, and the fall of Jerusalem and the destruction of the temple were on the horizon.
You are correct. Background for 40 points. How did the historical situation impact the prophet and help shape his message? Yes.
There was the collapse and destruction of the holy city of Jerusalem, the temple, and the southern kingdom. And his message was actually a complaint to God, asking why he did not interact while there was destruction and violence happening. And God's response was that justice will be served.
You're correct. Background for 50 points. Is there anything we can learn about this prophet or his time from the extra biblical resources, such as archaeology and other written sources? Yes.
Habakkuk is one of the many books that is found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, which are historically from that time period. But outside of this, not much is known about this lesser prophet.
Correct. Okay, message for 10 points. What were the main personal, societal, religious, and social issues the prophet was addressing? Yes.
Can I phone a friend?
Yes, you can.
Hey, would you be able to
Hi.
answer this question for me?
Of course.
Okay, the question is, what were the main personal, societal, religious, and social issues the prophet was addressing?
The first two chapters contain reflections on theodicy, in which the prophet assesses previously available answers to the problem of evil. Habakkuk wanted to see God more, especially in the justice of wrongdoers. Habakkuk is also desperate for help from God for his people. Habakkuk believes that God doesn't hear him, and they're anticipating the deliverance to be wrought by Yahweh.
Correct. Message for 20 points. What types of behavior or misguided theology does the writer confront and attempt to correct in the book? Yes.
There was much injustice, conflict, corruption, and violence taking place in Judah. God sends the Babylonians to conquer Judah as punishment for their actions. However, the Babylonians also showed bad morals by idolizing self-worth and wealth. Habakkuk attempts to correct this by questioning God, why he allows evil to prosper while the righteous have to suffer. In the end resolution, Habakkuk decided to remain faithful to God and be patient. In God's timing, those who committed wrongdoings would face judgment.
Correct. Okay. Message for 30 points. What was the prophet's main theological message or concern in the book? Yes.
I have a friend I would like to call.
Okay.
I'll exercise my phone call. Hello!
Hi.
Hey, can you answer your question for me?
Yeah.
Alright, sweet. The game is on the line.
Okay, the question is, what was the prophet's main theological message or concern in the book?
The prophet's main theological message is to grow faith from a faith of question to a faith of absolute trust in God.
Correct. Message for 40 points. What issues did the prophet raise about God, the Israelite community, ethical and moral behavior, sin and disobedience, forgiveness and redemption, compassion, social justice, etc.?
So Habakkuk was frustrated with God because he wasn't correcting the behavior of the wicked people above and around him. This brings about three messages that Habakkuk gained and talked about in his book. So we have to have trust in God at all times, no matter what the circumstances, whether good or bad. God will bring all wickedness to account. This can be seen through the way that Babylon was brought to punish Judah through its wickedness, and how everyone will be judged accordingly through God's justice, which is both righteous and fair. And the last message was the global glory of God, and how God's love and actions are not affected by race, ethnicity, or economic difference.
Correct. Okay, message for 50 points. How is the prophet's message reflected in the content and organization of the book Habakkuk?
I'll go again. So the chapters are set up like a call and response. So the first chapter is about Habakkuk talking and the people's complaints. The second chapter is God's answer. And the third chapter is Habakkuk's prayer and rejoice to the Lord.
Correct. Okay, daily double for 60 points. Is there any evidence that the prophet's message was received or rejected by the community? Yes.
There is no evidence, but like if the community did receive his message, they would trust in God no matter the situation.
Correct. Okay. Application for 30 points. What biblical truths can be found in the book of Habakkuk?
God is so good, even when all the whole world is evil, and God is in control, and He has a plan, whether we feel like He does or not. And God's judgment on others evil doing will always come, even when it's not how or when we want it. And God can use evil to fulfill His purpose, and that God and His followers strength and confidence God gives His followers strength and confidence during hard times.
Correct. Application for 40 points. What does the message of the prophet mean on a personal level, and how does the book challenge an individual to live before God? Yes.
You must live with faith and hope that God will come through, and be patient and trust in God and His timing.
Correct. All right, application for 50 points. What does the message of the book of Habakkuk mean on the corporate level, and what does it say about living in a community of faith? Yes.
So his main message is to trust in God no matter the situation. So on a corporate level would be to trust His strategy, and there's always going to be up and down. So his message is to tell you to just keep going.
Correct. After a very close call of tallying up the points, Team 1 has won the game of Jeopardy. Woo!
Yeah.
Thank you for playing. We hope to see you next time.